um, the fund allotted by the government, various government sectors for research purpose, and the funding is means the private equity funding or angel investments or venture capitals and other things. And then we can discuss about the pre-grant opposition and post-grant opposition, which is unexpected part of your research. Which may stop your entire research, and then further do's and don'ts which you have to consider with some example about some case laws, and then further finally you can ask clarify your doubts. First, we may start with literature research versus patent search. So entire session I just wanted to make it as some A versus B. Okay, you all know very well that why the literature search is. It's purely for academic novelty. You have to ensure that your research is not yet no, clearly disclosed in any of the research papers, journals. But in this case, if you come to patent, it's a legal novelty, and it discusses about the existing rights. That means there are every year around China itself they are filing around 15 lakh patents, and overall around some 50 lakh patents per year is filed around the world. Maybe in your research domain, several patents may already been filed in the previous years. That you have to ensure, because what is research comparatively? I have seen mentored around more than 100 PhD scholars. Mostly the parties they compare process A, B, C, and check, and finally they say which one is the best, or they include some research and they compare with other method, if 3 or 4 different methods, and finally they may say this method is the best because of the so and so reasons. But in case of patent, it's completely different. You have to understand what all the existing rights are available. That means the inventions which are already disclosed and open to the public, and other inventions which are currently protected by your competitors or any other manufacturing industries or companies. So it is most important part of any research. Before commencing any research, you have to conduct a detailed pattern search. Okay, because you may publish something new, but you can still infringe any of the existing patent. You have published means that publication in a scientific journal, that itself will not give any protection, and it may not claim, you cannot claim the novelty of your research work, because it may be filed in any part of the world, in any language. The same inventions or same research work may be already conducted. Okay, first we have to understand what is patent search. It's a legal investigation. So it's not an academic research. So investigation is different and legal is different. When you don't touch that part, it is easy. But once someone is touch that area, it will be really a nightmare. In that case, you have to search for existing patents and patent applications, to identify the legal rights. It's not for the knowledge purpose. It's purely for the legal right, which you want to ensure that the idea is not protected already. And the most important part of the invention is the novelty and patentability. So you have to ensure the invention is novel and patentable. And most importantly, that research, the patent search, helps you to avoid any legal disputes and infringement risks in future. There are different types of patent searches. One is novelty search, and other one is patentability analysis. Third one is freedom to operate search, and fourth one is validity search, and fifth one is landscape analysis. Novelty means before filing, you have to ensure whether the idea which you are going to conduct a research, that is novel. Especially if you want to file an IP and if you want to collaborate with any industries. What is novel? The idea must be new to the world. And then further, let me explain about patentability. Patentability means the invention must have an inventive step. There must be something new as well as some inventive step. For example, novelty means all your idea is disclosed in one patent. In pre-art, any existing patent, then the novelty is completely lost. In case if there is if idea A is disclosed in one patent, idea B is disclosed in other patent, idea C is disclosed in some other patent. So if you combine A plus B plus C, then it's similar, it is equal to your research, means the patentability is lost. That means the combined teaching. So there are several laws, the doctrine of equivalence or function-way results method. Based on that, they will compare, and during the litigation, that takes a major part. Nowadays, we are not like earlier. Even 2 years ago, the patent grant was quite easy, but nowadays they are strictly, concentrating on the patentability, especially the inventive step process. And third most important part is freedom to operate. If you want to commercialize any of your research work or invention, you have to conduct a freedom to operate search, because the industry likes to know that there won't be any legal consequences. And further validity, if you have any invention, competitor invention, the validity is lost, that means the patent is not renewed and it is open to public, then you have the value, it is free to operate, then there won't be any litigation or opposition issues. So you have to ensure the life of the patent application, that is called validity. And the final important part is landscape. That means if the patent is filed only in China but not available in India, though you can't file a patent for the same idea, but you can ensure no one can sue you at least. But if the patent is filed in US, China, and India as well, then if you file the same idea, then there are high chances for infringement suit or any revocation of patents during the commercialization process. So you have to remember always that most researchers stops at novelty search. But when you, if you are a researcher, if you are going using a grant for some research, then it's completely okay. But if you are willing to tie up with any industry, if you want to collaborate with any industry, then they must ensure that it is the free FTO search is already conducted. That means freedom to operate. So you have to give a no promise that the idea is not disclosed or not. There won't be any issue if they use your image. So it is your major role that you have to conduct detailed pattern search. So as we discussed the first part, as the research is important, the next one is the publication versus grant. Usually you have to publish, I think, at least 2 or 3 research papers in scientific journals, referred journals, to get the credibility of your research work. And parallelly, every researcher are now filing a patent for their inventions. If you also get a grant certificate from the patent office for your research work, then if the journals are published and the patent is granted, you are ready to go to commercialize and launch your product. In this case, the publication gives a recognition, as you know very well, but patent gives you a protection. So you must never ever forget that protection is most important than the recognition in case of commercialization. For example, the publication is purely for public disclosure, and patent is for exclusive rights. So you have to share the exclusive or non-exclusive right to the industry or any other company or any individual through licensing. For that part, the exclusive rights is most important one. So you must understand anticipation, which is a major part of the section 29 to 34 of Indian Patents Act 1970 discloses. Anticipation means it's a prior disclosure before filing. If you have disclosed your research work prior to the patent filing, then you cannot file a patent, or the chances for getting the grant for the patent is very thin. Where will you disclose your idea? Maybe in journal publications, or you may present a paper in any conferences, or you may submit your theses and public disclosures. If you already submitted the thesis and it is published, then then it's really difficult to obtain the grant for your invention. So I would like to share 6 important sections which covers the anticipation part. You must always keep this in your mind. First, the section 29 Publication without applicant's consent. For example, you are submitting your journal paper to your your mentor, or with your you discuss with your colleague. But if the idea is disclosed without your content, they have published the paper in their name, you can still claim the novelty using this section. You can fight by mentioning the section 29. Sir, without my consent, my idea was published in some research journal. So if you have already faced a similar kind of experience, then remember this section. It will always helps you to protect the novelty. And then further, section 30. For example, if you want to submit the idea to the government for any purpose, for example, the grant, to obtain a grant of some of, for example, 10 lakhs or something for your research work, you have to submit your entire research or the concept to any government bodies. So if you submitted the idea, you have a time of 12 months time. Within the 12 months time, you can protect the application. But remember, government has the rights to use your invention if you submit the idea to the government. For example, section 90 to 93, it explains about the rights of government to use your invention in case of different situations. So they may pay you some solatium, some money, and then they can use. And you cannot claim the rights because if you have already submitted your idea to the government. So you have to be careful, and you have to ensure your IP properly before submitting the idea to any private or government bodies to protect your invention perfectly. And third important part, okay, just imagine you are going to an exhibition, so in an institution exhibition or expos or startup expos, and you are presenting your idea in learned society. Learned society means any persons having the similar skill in the art, or the people you are just evaluating your ideas. If you already did this, still you have time, 12-month period time. Within that period, you have to protect your idea, otherwise the idea is lost, the novelty is lost. And fourth important part is the section 32, public working for reasonable trial. You have developed a prototype, and you have developed a industrial prototype. You want to conduct the research, but you have to conduct in open forum or any industry, or in a common place, public place. If you conduct the trial, people come to know. They may take a photo or video and share it in Instagram, social media pages. In that case, if you file the invention within 12 months from the date of disclosure, still you have the novelty, so there is no anticipation. And fifth point is section 33, use or publication after provisional filing. So if the idea is protected, or you file the provisional application, still you can disclose the idea. There won't be any novelty lost. And section 34, certain communications are specifically omitted there won't be any novelty lost. I will explain the section 34 in detail. It's quite complicated, but you can claim the novelty even if you pitch the idea to any of the companies. Okay, never ever forget these six sections, which helps you to protect the novelty, because you have no other choice. If someone asks you to pitch your idea, you have to. In that case, these six sections will help you during the opposition procedures. So the biggest takeaway is, the biggest enemy of a patent is your own publication. So never ever forget it for recognition purpose, or for any other increment, promotions, or competition from your colleague, or whatever the purpose. Please never ever do the mistake. Don't publish your invention before filing a patent application, because in case of commercialization, the novelty part plays a major role. So 3 rules: publish after filing, not before. Definitely one paper, one publication can kill your entire patent process. And if you are looking for recognition today, you can lose your rights tomorrow. So keep this in mind. Say today's recognition is important, or protection of your IP rights is important. So this is up to you. I strongly recommend you to go with the patent application first. Well, today, whatever the content you draft, the AI will say it's a plagiarism. So 90%, 80%. But plagiarism is different, but copyright is different. So what happens if your research work has a plagiarism, or what happens if your research work has a copyright infringement? Let me share something about plagiarism. Plagiarism, what is, it's an ethical violation. So though it's not, legally it may not create big impact. You can share some others idea without credit, that it's called plagiarism. You if you haven't mentioned their name, then it's called as plagiarism. And if you just simply copy and paste, it's called plagiarism. It's completely an academic misconduct. They may disqualify your PhD in worst case, but there is no direct legal penalty in case of plagiarism. But when it comes to copyright, it's a legal right. It's protected under Copyright Act 1957. So it protects all the expressions like text, figures, code, images, whatever. If there is a software algorithm, or if you have captured any image, or if you created some research work, whatever if the expresses, it comes under copyright, means no one can violate it. If you use someone's copyrighted material, it's a serious infringement. You are liable for legal actions. It may go to penalty and legal, imprisonment as well, up to 3 years imprisonment. So you have to be very careful while referring others. Even though if you cite their name, but you cannot protect it, it won't help you to protect. So when a research moves to commercialization, the copyright issues become the legal risk, not just academic issue. So since you 20 people are entering into different parties, you are not a regular researcher. You are shortlisted, and you are taken to next level for commercialization and industry academia collaboration, or to launching the product. Or I think there are certain future lies in your research work, I guess. So it's not. Please remember, it's not an academic work. It's completely a research work which lies under copyright or patent protection. Okay. What happens in case of grant or funding? I think you have received some grant for your research work. The next step is funding. Once you have launched the product, or you have successfully completed, developed the prototype, and you may go for funding, I guess. In this case, a grant is provided by the government. The bodies, for example, DST, DPT, or SERB, even Research Foundation, Tamil Nadu Research Foundation is also funding you. You don't have to repay that. So you can happily concentrate on research and innovation, but it has some limited commercial value. You don't have the liability. But in case of funding, is purely concentrate on business growth, whereas grant is for research support. So the people who funds you, they mainly focus on business, not on the research. They need the outcome. So in this case, you have developed to a certain extent using the grant which is received by you. But if you want to commercialize, then you have to concentrate on funding. Means you have to pitch the idea to the investors. There are different types of funding. For example, angel investors are there, venture capitals are there. I hope you are aware about it. I don't have to explain those things. And you have to share some equity. If you are a private, if you have developed a startup as a private limited company, then you have to share some equity, and they expect some returns. So the main thing is, it's in grant, it is research and innovation. In case of funding, scalability and profit. So keeping this in mind, your grant supports your idea, funding tests your idea. So if you want to commercialize your invention, you have to ensure the idea is really novel, and there must be some inventive step. So the grants are purely for building the technology, but remember, the fund is purely for you can receive the funding only when there is a market potential. So your invention must, your research work must focus on market potential, equally the research and technology. So the final word for this is opposition risk starts increasing when funding enters. So this is the part which you have to remember. Why I have explained about grant or funding, which may sound like which is not relevant to this sector. But just imagine, if you receive fund certain amount of fund, $1 million or 1 million, 10 some XYZ rupees or dollars from any other company, then it may the news may be published in magazines or shared in some videos. The moment the people will look into your project, if they think the idea is similar to their invention or their project or their software or their any copyrighted material, then the risk of opposition starts. So before entering into funding, you have to ensure you are not your invention is not weak, because some company is trusted you and invested in your project, and then once the funding is received and if they receive an opposition notice, then the entire research work will be in a big question. So in this case, there are three stages of oppositions. One is pre-grant opposition, and other one is post-grant opposition, and third one is infringement suit. And in between, there is another class that is called revocation of patent. Anyone can request the patent office to revocate your invention. In this case, you have I hope you have already filed a patent application. It is under process. So you have, what are the stages of patent filing? Patent search, and then drafting, filing, publication, examination request, examination, prosecution, grant. There are around 7 stages. In any stage after publication, if you have not requested for examination, there won't be any issue. If you requested for examination at any moment from the date of examination request till grant, there are high chances for opposition. Anyone can oppose your patent application. Section 25(1) of Indian Patent Act discloses there are around 20 around 25 subclasses. In that, it's purely filed after publication before the grant. So from after publication till grant, if only if you have submitted the examination request through Form 18 or Form 18A. Who can oppose? Any person, any interested person can oppose, not a person aggrieved. There is no locus standi is required. That means there won't be any specific cause is required. Anyone, if they feel that the idea is not novel or there is no inventive step, they can easily oppose your application. So you must be careful if you disclose the idea. Even any of your close circle and may oppose your application without your knowing you, maybe in different some other person's name. You may not aware of it. Why are they doing it? Why are they oppose your patent entry against? Or what are the grounds? One is they can claim for lack of novelty or anticipation, as we discussed earlier, and the inventive step. And third one is there's a patent. The idea is not patentable. It's not patentable subject matter, or insufficient disclosure, or wrongful obtainment. Likewise, there are 25 subclasses. In any class, they can oppose your application. And the purpose, why they want to oppose your patent in during even it is not granted. One main thing is they want to delay the grant. So you have received the fund when you publish the application, you have received the fund. So what the competitor will do, they will file an pre-grant opposition and they want to delay the grant. So there are legal procedures. You have to. They will send the notice. The controller sends the notice to you, and you have to submit the reply, and they have to get the reply from the like it's a legal process. So then you have to spend huge money for that. Most of the people suffers in this area because they are not affordable to pay the legal prosecution costs. So what most of at this stage they feel dejected and leave the idea. That's what the opponent want wants. And then they claim they want to weaken your claim. You have drafted some claims, they want to weaken it. They say idea in the A, B, C, or A is mine, B is already there, so only C is the invention part. You have to remove the claim, part A and B from the claim. So three main reasons: one is to delay, second one is to increase the cost and make you, weak, and then to weaken the patent itself. So the pre-grant opposition is one of the most important um, back, uh, what to say? Which stops you. It's a barrier to stop you. So it's a simple word. It's a delay strategy. Uh, they want to delay your process. Maybe if you have applied for expedited examination, you may receive the grant within a year, for example. But in this case, it may take around 1 or 2 more years to receive the final grant certificate. Well, what is post grant opposition? One is pre grant and the other one is post grant. Post grant opposition means it is happening. It will happen only after your patent is granted. So you don't you don't have to feel happy once you receive the grant of the patent, because still, even after the grant, your patent is under threat. Section 25 of Indian Patent Act 1970. So your patent is granted, but any person can sue you, file a post grant opposition within 1 year from the date of grant. This can be filed in patent office after the patent is granted, not before the patent. If it is before the grant, it is pre grant. Once patent is granted, then it is post grant opposition. So any person interested can oppose your patent within 1 year from the date of grant of the patent, and they may request for revocation under section 64 as well. Okay, the next uh, first step is that they have to um, sorry, they will file post grant opposition. If, for example, if the 1 year is passed, still they have a chance. They can file an infringement suit, and infringement suit can be filed in either way. You can also file an infringement suit, and the opposite party can also file an infringement suit if the product is commercialized. The purpose is to prevent the unauthorized use of an patented invention from making, using, selling, distributing, importing without the permission. Where infringement suit can be filed, it can be filed in high court, mostly in high court. But here now there are some commercial courts are there. Even in Coimbatore, you can go through from that commercial court as well. It depends on the infringement part. So, if the revocation of patent part is raised, they want to remove your patent from the patent office, then High Court will decide what will be decided. In this, if you want to move to High Court, it's quite very expensive process because you have to pay for the attorneys. So, till funding, if you have received grant and if you develop the product prototype, if you conduct the research, there won't be any issue. If you file a patent, if there is a pre-grant opposition, there is minor issue. If there is a revocation of patent, still you can fight in the patent office. But once it goes for infringement suit, it's completely a legal debate, a legal battle. So you have to be strong. What are all the reliefs? For example, you can also sue others, right? You have your invention is your research work is used by some of the companies without your knowledge. There are four different ways. One is injunction, temporary injunctions, and then you can claim the damages as money or account of profit. You can ask the share of profit, and then you can ask to seize the products, and the seized products can be destructed. The infringement goods can be destructed. So these are all the most common chances reliefs available. The moment you file an infringement suit, remember your patent is comes under attack. So it's legal work. You have to fight with that. So you are in. I don't know which level are you in the at this moment, but be ready to any kind of oppositions. And in case of opposition, you have to be prepared for this legal battle, because the commercialization leads to enforcement. Definitely, you have to enforce, and the enforcement leads to opposition and revocation challenges. If what just imagine what happens if the patent is asked for revocation. If already the patent is removed from the patent office, you have to answer your funding agencies, and you have to answer as a director for your companies. So this is the preliminary stage that you can ensure. So far, if you have not conducted, then it's not too late. You can still commence the FTO search and infringement search and ensure your research work is not yet disclosed or not. I just would like to share some do's and don'ts. Just file your research work, file your invention before you publish. You must conduct patent search and freedom to operate search before conducting the research or before taking any research work, and draft a strong defensible claims. I just missed a few specific. I have used the electronic tag, but even if I before it has drafted before 10 years ago, in the present scenario, I would have drafted in a different manner. So claims are heart of your invention. So we don't do it. It's not a DIY product, or it's not Jugaad invention. If you want to protect your invention, always trust your attorney. Find the best attorney in your area. Any person who must have experience in the different, in this area. More, definitely, it helps in future. Trust me. And then, yes, I said track the competitors yearly. You have to conduct the competitor watch. You have to do the competitor search, and you have to understand what the competitors are doing at this present moment. Only you can understand it only by reading their patent. Patents will be filed before, even before the product is launched. So if you regularly check the publications, you can read, you can understand what your competitors are doing at this moment. And your all the inventions, purpose of all inventions are it must be commercializable. No, it should not stay in the research level itself. The purpose of the Tamil Nadu Research Park Foundation is, I think, any research work should not only sleep in the books or in the library. It should be commercialized, and it should reach the society. So align your research work with the IP possibilities, commercialization. With even a single IP, if you have transferred the technology, you can get royalty of around 3 to 6%. You can easily retire, and you can get huge money out of it with a single invention if the strategy is really good. Don't don't assume publications is protection. So publication is not protection. So never go for publication first. And as I said, do not disclose before filing unless you sign a if they are willing to sign a non-disclosure agreement. If they say, and I don't want to sign any non-disclosure agreement, better you just walk out. You don't have to take a chance. It's really I took the decision, and still even after 10 years I regret for it. And never ignore existing patents, because only 10% you are just seeing the tip of an iceberg. There is a mountain is lying under the IP domain. You can get extraordinary ideas from the lapsed patent alone. And don't treat grant as a final success. Grants are for research purpose, and please do not enforce the weak patents. If your attorney says your patent is weak, your idea is weak, just accept it and try to improvise it.